Hey everyone, it's Ivan, kitbadger.com, out here for another gear review, and today, talking belts, this guy right here, which is the Wojtek, maybe? It's the Baer belt by Baer Solutions. If memory serves, or it may well not, seems to me Wojtek, maybe is how you pronounce it, was either means bear or it was the name of the bear. I want to say some like Polish soldiers in World War II like adopted, found it as a cub, something like that. Anyway, it's another way of saying Baer because Baer Solutions. So it is the Baer belt. And with it, it is a two-part belt. So you have a inner belt and an outer belt. The inner belt, all the Velcro, is actually pretty neat in that it is, I think, about 1.5 inches wide, and there's actually some padding to it, which is really nice because generally when you have a padded like war belt, it ends up being really bulky because the entire thing is one, usually really wide, and that padding. This kind of approaches it differently. And also with the inner belt, you essentially have this essentially kind of like a D-ring almost over here. And then you run this through it, tighten it back on itself like that. Actually makes it really easy to get it really comfortable as far as just running this through the belt loops on your pants. And then of course, this guy goes over the top, mating up the Velcro on the inner belt with this right here. And yeah, I guess I'll go over kind of some of the cool features on this. Real quick, again with the inner belt, it is padded and really comfortable. Run that guy through there and then just layer it back over, and that is how that inner belt is set up. Now I will show you the outer belts. First off, things worth mentioning, this belt as well as components, this right here being the Raptor buckle, is actually US made, very compliant, and this opens up like that on the front of your belt. Right here you have duct tape. It actually comes with essentially a keeper band, which I seem to have promptly lost, so I went ahead and taped it. Again, if you don't lose the keeper band, you're good to go. But the actual belt itself, looking at the inside of it here, there's actually Tegris that runs through it, and as you can see, the hole spacing, as well as, maybe kind of hard to see, basically these slots, both on the top and bottom, which are MOLLE or PALS compatible, as evidenced by this being the True North Concepts holster, modular holster adapter, I think. And yeah, basically running those through what would otherwise be used for MOLLE PALS webbing, but in this case they're just aluminum. And then coming back here, you can of course end up using Chicago screws, which I hate, but it does actually work well for mounting certain things. And coming back over, again, this, while I could actually run it through for the PALS webbing, it is Velcro backed, and so it actually holds up fine. Same with this over here. And then of course these, again, with those Chicago screws. And based on the hole pattern, you can actually angle things if you want to do that. And since someone will probably ask, quick rundown on the way I have this set up. So up here are a double pistol pouch by Blue Force Gear. They're 10 speed, so it's elastic cells. I like it. It goes flat as soon as those pistol mags are out. Not super fun to put mags back into, but again, being pistol mags, like that's my secondary, probably not bumping other mags forward. Whereas this, usually draw from these. This on the back here is the Ridgeline DROP, I believe. Basically, it kind of kicks it out away from your body some, which is good if you're wearing body armor or you're a bigger person. But yeah, on top of those is these immediate access pouch by EMDOM, Military Morons. Pretty cool rifle mag pouches, pretty easy to reinsert mags. So if I'm wearing a carrier or chest rig or whatever, I can actually bump magazines back into that. Coming back around, this guy right here is a dump pouch by Chase Tactical, roll-up dump pouch. I do like it because you can mount it at different levels. This way it sits down, kind of gets out of the way, and when I go to reach back, I'm not having to reach high because it's sitting down below kind of the belt line. Then back here, AMTAC blades, battle axe. It's pretty cool. The way I have it set up, there's a bungee here. Basically kind of keeps this back against me, but undo that snap, you can draw it straight out one-handed. And then you can resheath it. Usually use it with 2 hands because I want to feed that back in. Thing's pretty cool. I also make a trainer for it, so go get some reps on bob or whatnot. And then over here, as I mentioned, True North Concepts, modular holster adapter, I believe. One of the Safariland ALS holsters. And then down here, this is the thigh strap hanger by Carey Concealment, which is really nice and definitely saved me in one of the times I used it, which I'll speak to in a minute. So how have I used this? I've actually, I feel like I've probably used this thing for at least over a year now at this point. And it largely has done a really good job for me. Where have I used it? I know I definitely used it at a Press Check Consulting, their no-fail pistol, as well as no-fail rifle, I want to say. Did awesome for me there. Used it obviously different range sessions, things along those lines. And kind of most recently, I actually took this setup to Finland for Finnish brutality. And largely it did good for me everywhere, exception being Finland. And it honestly had no part in the belt. So I guess I'll speak to Finland real quick. Basically, winter war, cruising through the snow, all kinds of warming layers, things like that. And in that competition, you need, it's primary, secondary, so like rifle and pistol. So I needed to have a pistol in a holster. And I ended up using this setup. Pretty much didn't carry any mags or anything like that because I had the Spiritus Winter Warfare Assault Kit. So pretty much most all of my gear was on that, except for my pistol and my sweet battle axe. So in that competition though, because of the way that Winter Warfare Assault Kit like rode, it kind of came down to where I had to, drawing the pistol wasn't super easy. And so on the stages where you need to draw the pistol out, basically kind of had to fight with the rest of my kit. Granted, that kit isn't really made to go in conjunction with a pistol belt because extreme cold weather, one, military in general, everyone thinks primary, secondary, like usually you have a rifle. You have a primary, which is your primary, and that is it. And so with that end also, like that Winter Warfare Assault Kit, it is something that holds largely everything you need. And so if you're, which you are, constantly stripping off layers, putting on layers as you increase, decrease your output level, trying not to sweat, bad news in really cold weather. Yeah, not really made to go necessarily in conjunction with a belt. So knowing that going in, whatever, it still worked, made it work. Other places I've used it though, it's done an awesome job. And part of it is, one, you actually have a comfortable inner belt, and then you have this outer belt, which I want to say is 2 inches, and it stays put. So we have a little bit of padding, which is great, especially wearing it all day long at range. And then you have a way to mount all of your things. To include, this generally has more mounting places than a lot of your other kind of like battle belts, as evidenced by the fact I actually have this pistol pouch set up pretty much almost like centerline, which I like because again, it just frees up more room rather than having, especially if you look at some of your padded belts, like they come and then they basically stop here, which means you can't even mount things until you get back to here. And so this largely alleviates that and is just really comfortable. One thing I will say that I do like, again, this thigh strap hanger by Carey Concealment. Really nice if you're not wearing the inner belt, or even if you are, just in that it's one more anchor point essentially. And this actually does a pretty decent job of gripping because again, it's that male Velcro like on the inside of the outer belt. So like over in Finland, when I would buckle this thing on there, largely it would stay put, just friction, but then anchoring it with that thigh strap hanger, which was really, really good. And so yeah, shot with this belt a lot. Thoughts overall on this belt? I really like it. On the one hand, incredibly well made. The inner and outer belt, I want to say, come with a 5-year warranty, which is pretty awesome. And just details. For example, the Velcro they went with is some sort of special advanced Velcro. Basically, it can last up to 10 years, taking it on and off like 3 times a day, which is pretty significant. Lots of times Velcro wears out fairly quick because usually it's like the cheaper version of Velcro. And it's very compliant, made here in the US, which, if you care about that, definitely a bonus. Price-wise, I want to say it's around 225 bucks, something like that. A number of different colors. This obviously is multicam. They also have, I think, Ranger Green, black, and maybe something else. I don't recall offhand. But yeah, no, it has done a good job for me. Definitely comfortable wearing it all day and not bulky. And with that, fairly lightweight. I think belt's like around 9+ ounces, something like that. And being able to have something comfortable that you can wear all day, whether it's a duty belt because that's the world you live in, or just as a civilian going to a training course and spending all day on the range deck. Really nice to actually have something comfortable and pretty lightweight. While I am not really, I want to say Safariland ALS, does that sound right? Maybe not. But basically their stuff, usually more kind of competition oriented, where you can angle the mag carriers, things like that. This will absolutely facilitate that. As much as I hate Chicago screws, there is yet to be a better Chicago screw, and this opens up the option to mount things that you otherwise would not be able to mount, which is really cool, to include this axe, for example. And being able to just mount things however and wherever you want. Pretty much any pouch this will work with because of the flexibility of the design, which, like I said, pretty rad. But if it's something you're interested in, there'll be links down below. You can check all this stuff out. And as always, thanks for joining us at kitbadger.com. Look forward to seeing you next time. She dances on my table. She dances on my